On this channel, $1 Million Made Easy, we love to run numbers for people and show you what the S&P 500 might do if it continues to do for what it's been doing for 100 years, which we believe it's not going to be better or any worse than the last 100 years. This individual has $800,000. They want to know if they can retire. Well, the first question needs to be answered or asked and answered is, what are your expenses going to be right now? And he thought he needed $5,000 a month. 5,000 a month in expenses, and he says he's going to get 1750 from Social Security. So he's going to have to come up with 3250. So this $800,000 is going to have to provide him $3,250. How would that work out? But first of all, the first thing we do is we recommend not leaving it all in the S&P 500. We recommend some kind of an asset allocation. So when the market does go down, the money comes out of the cash reserve account, not out of the stock market, because you don't want to sell when the market's going down. You don't want to sell low. So I've got a 70-30 split set up here. As you can see, 70% of the 800,000 is going to stay in the S&P 500 for the growth potential. 560,000. 240 is going over in a cash reserve account. Now let's just say it's paying 2%. So what happens is when we reach these down years, like for example in this case, this 39,000. Oh, by the way, we want to give a COLA also. We don't want to leave you at 39,000 and 3250 a month because you want to plan on a COLA. So by the 8th year here, if we're looking at 1993 returns, 44,000, 45,000, 46,000. You don't want that coming out of this, knocking it down even farther. That would be knocking another 130 or 40,000 down, so that wouldn't be near as much in there coming back with this 28%. So you want it coming out of the cash reserve account. Well, let's look at these years. In this case scenario, you could easily retire 800,000, withdrawing 3250. And if you had the scenario of what the returns were from 1993 on, this is a summary right here. You'd have well over $1 million every single time. In fact, it'd be growing. So the point after 30 years of retirement, you'd have 3.619. But watch what happens as we go down through here. Watch how these millions change. 1996, they're somewhat less. And after 15 years, you're actually just under $1 million. What's happening? These down years are getting closer and closer. That's so important to watch when those down years happen. 1999, look at these. What happened to all those millions? You're down to, after 25 years, down to only 166,000 left. You'd be getting a little bit nervous if you retired, for example, at age 62. By the time you were 87, or even when you were, 82, when you're down to 284, that'd be making you a little bit nervous. Well, watch what happens year 2000. Those first 3 years you retire are down years. Even though you got a cash reserve, you're still in trouble because you only have 75,000 left after 20 years. So you need to really monitor what's going on those first 3 years or first years of retirement. Now, what you could do is eliminate the COLA. Let's just go down from a 2% COLA to a 1% COLA. And we're looking at this box right here because we haven't had 25 years since year 2000. We're getting close. But after 20 years, you're down to 75,000. If you only took a 1% COLA, you'd have $250,000 left. And if you didn't have a COLA at all, you'd have 400,000. But is that realistic? Maybe you should just do not take a COLA in down years. But anyway, I just wanted to run the numbers for you to show how important what's happening those initial years. A lot of years you're going to be in super great shape. Let's go to one other scenario. What if we have a 73, 74? Well, we had 2 down years. Let's see where you might be in that scenario. Go up here. 73. Again, what's happening those first initial years? They call that sequence of return risk. If you did 1973 with this scenario, 800,000, no problem. Yes, it got knocked down, but I want you to notice something. You had 2 bad years, but look how it came back. Up 37, up 23. It was down a little bit there. Up 18. Look at the numbers we're talking about here. After 10 years, you have 764,000, a little bit less than what you started with, but then it just takes off. Again, about the only bad years would be like the 1929. We need to look at 1929 just in case. So you say I'm not cherry picking here. 1929, big problem. 4 down years. It doesn't really matter what you did. The 3250, you're going to have to cut that way back. Even if you didn't have a COLA at all, you're still down after 20 years to 65,000. You might have to go down to 2,500. And then, of course, your money would last. You can see these numbers here. After 15, after 20, and so on, because the market actually did come back in the depression years. It came back 53, and it came back 47, 33. But if you were in it those initial years taking out too much, you were going to run out of money like we just saw, 65,000 down to 65,000. Hopefully these numbers make sense to you. I love running numbers for people. You can learn a lot by just looking at what other people are doing. But feel free to put numbers you want me to run in the comment section. I'll run them for you, and we'll just see where you might be. Again, people can learn from your numbers also. Again, the channel is called $1 Million Made Easy. Please consider subscribing. Tell your friends about this channel. We love to run numbers for people in the withdrawal stage, but also when you're trying to get to $1 million. That's why we call our channel $1 Million Made Easy. In this case, an individual with 800,000 looks like he'd be in good shape most years. Thanks for watching.